I wanted to ask you about something Megan Gustafson said last night, and not like to make excuses, but I just thought it was interesting. She was saying that like
Who said this?
Megan Gustafson, she was saying it's like a league-wide thing this season where teams are losing games they shouldn't lose, and like it's not an anomaly for kind of games that you saw last night. Like she was like, this is normal. It's happening around the entire league, and I'm just wondering if you view it the same way because Joel had even said like maybe it's CBA negotiations. I don't know what it is, but it's just something about this season. Do you view it the same way?
There is weird things happening in the league. I agree with that. Weird lopsided wins, people beating people who probably shouldn't be beating other people. Um, However, yesterday was unacceptable in any season.
Gianna Hearn with the Aces. After the loss last night, kind of what was the feeling in the locker room? What was kind of the words? Obviously not specific words, but what was the feeling that you got out of the team?
I didn't listen to them talk. I don't know what they talked about. Um, you'll have to ask them what they talked about. But I didn't say much because I was not going to have very many nice things to say. And my mom told me, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it at all.
Considering the loss yesterday, where do you start to pick up those pieces?
You start in the first quarter of the game against the Golden State Valkyries. And it's the beauty of our schedule in some ways. And sometimes you hate those scheduling things, but there's no better way to cleanse the palate than to get back up and jump on the horse again and give it another shot. And you thank God we don't have to stew on that for another, 24 to 48 hours. I'm thank God we have a game today.
Ann O'Neill with Scripps and the Aces. Curious to see how you want to respond guarding the three-point line after the Lynx and knowing that Golden State's going to put up a lot of them.
Yeah, I mean, if we just do what we're supposed to do, we'll be fine. Our pickup points were incredibly low. They were inside the three-point line almost every possession. And so, I mean, just mathematically, you're giving the team 80% of the court for free. And you can't do that in any league, any gender, in the game of basketball, and expect to have any kind of defensive efficiency. I liken it to a defensive back, right? Guarding a wide receiver. The reason they can bump in the first 10 yards is because they know if they don't get to hit that player, it's over. That wide receiver gets a dead sprint at that D back, and you lose the short game and the long game because if you don't get to hit them, then there's just 5 yards you did death, 5 yards. And if you just try to go from a dead sprint to somebody who's stationary trying to guard you, you're going to lose the long ball too. Just the physics don't match up. So what the NFL did is they realized that, hey, this is not fair unless we allow this rule. So I try to tell our team it's a similar situation. Like if the first time we're getting a hit on the ball is inside the three-point line, you're going to lose the long game and the short game. So we have to have pickup points where they feel us, they touch us, like they're feeling us per se in that 10 yards for us is at a minimum at half court. A minimum. We got 40, 30, 20 D. We're in 30 D. That means three-quarter court you should be picking up. And it was the opposite.
I don't know if you remember this, but
Did the Raiders play today? Because I just gave a great football analogy.
they played yesterday. They had an open practice yesterday.
They did? Okay.
Yeah. But last year you mentioned that nobody calls you when you're doing bad, like when your team's doing bad. I'm wondering what that experience has been like for you this year. Like, are there relationships that you're leaning more heavily on, or is this like a more of a solo journey this year? What's it been like?
Pop called me the other day. But I mean, he used to poke fun at us because we were so good. Now he's like, it's a little too close to home. Like, can't poke fun. No. Um, no, I mean, I have my people who I will allow to see me in certain spaces and places mentally and emotionally, but most of the time when my team is losing, I probably bury myself in a room with film and don't want to talk to, like yesterday, I don't really want to talk to anybody. I don't want to see anybody. All I want to do is freaking figure this out. And I don't know, probably not the healthiest thing a psychologist would probably tell me, but it's, I'm, I don't know. That's typically what I do though. I don't want to, I don't want to talk to anybody. I just want to sit in there, let me have my moment, and then I'll probably pick up the phone and vent to somebody. Um, but other times, you know, I'll just keep watching until I figure it out. Keep running through scenarios, just trying to figure out what buttons to push.
Before we go to Zoom.
All right, we'll go to Andrew on Zoom for the last question. Andrew?
Thanks, Caroline, as always, Coach. I mean, Pete Carroll may have to call you up on how great that football analogy was. Do you use that in terms of your film
I'd
sessions?
like to call Pete Carroll for some other questions.
Very much so. He would definitely do likewise, I think, on your end. Do you use that in terms of bump and run film in the NFL, in terms of showing your players how we're going to deal with screens over the course of the season? And is this something where when you have anything that happens like yesterday, for your pregame speech, you just say, just show me what you need to show and you keep it short, or you just keep it extended in terms of demanding what you want from your players?
I'm going to keep demanding what I want. There's no doubt about that. We know what it takes to win. We know what it looks like. We know what it feels like. And I thought we had kind of figured it out the two previous games. We looked more like a team than we had all year. And we ran into a buzzsaw like, okay, we got our butts kicked. We did. We turned in an F. They also turned in an A plus A plus A plus game. So the dynamics of those two grades, you know, resulted in a real ass kicking. However, I don't think they're that good. And I don't think we're that bad. I take that back. Minnesota might be that good, but we're not that bad. And so you have to, you do have to kind of sift through and sort through and balance things out, and figure out how to go to work and be better the next day. I got some numbers that I'm going to tell them that should be maybe alarming. I don't know. I think it should get your attention. But we have to compete for 40 minutes. If there's one thing about Golden State, they don't go away. They do not go away. They keep coming at you. They're the hardest playing team probably in the league. I'm trying to think who else plays super hard. I think Washington plays super hard. Atlanta plays pretty darn hard. New York, Minnesota, you know, they play hard and they're talented. Not to say that those other teams aren't talented, but, you know, you got MVP type players on those other rosters. But the game is a team game, and teams beat talent, period.
All right, thank you, Coach.